The ship's sensors chimed with a faint melodic pulse as I leaned over the console, nursing the final sip of my rationed coffee. The glimmering starfield ahead was a canvas of endless possibilities, but one anomaly caught my attention. There, in the vicinity of the Tau Vortiga system, a massive planet loomed, enveloped entirely in dense, green biomass that reflected light like an emerald in the black velvet of space. "Dax, what are we seeing?" I asked, my voice laced with intrigue. My droid assistant, Dax-47, emitted a subtle hum as he processed the sensor data. A holographic projection materialized in the air, depicting the colossal planet. Atmosphere: nitrogen-oxygen rich. Temperature: temperate to tropical. Surface: approximately 94% covered in dense forests, he reported. Preliminary analysis suggests conditions suitable for advanced terrestrial life forms. The data thrilled me. A world almost entirely covered by forests? It conjured visions of an unspoiled paradise, a realm akin to Earth's ancient primordial days. Life signs: abundant. Scanning for higher-order structures, Dax replied, his lens glowing faintly blue as he expanded the search. Moments later, the scan yielded something astonishing. Confirmed. Planetary civilization detected. Radiometric signatures consistent with a technological society. Surface broadcasts intercepted. My heart quickened. Contact with an advanced civilization was always the pinnacle of an explorer's career. This was no longer a simple reconnaissance. It was the dawn of a new relationship with a species unlike any I'd encountered. As I approached the planet's orbit, I activated the universal translator and sent a greeting on broad-spectrum frequencies, hoping to be understood. "This is Captain Elara Voss of the exploration vessel Arbiter's Quest. I come in peace and seek to learn about your people and your world." Silence stretched for what felt like an eternity. My palms grew clammy as I adjusted the ship's position to a stable orbit. Finally, a crackling response came through. "This is Operator Zakrai of the Anavi Dominion. You have entered the sovereign space of Avan'Tai. State your intentions, stranger." The voice was sharp, clipped, with a melodic undertone that hinted at avian origins. My suspicions about the planet's dominant species stirred within me. I am an explorer from a distant star. My intentions are peaceful. I seek knowledge and the opportunity to exchange cultures. There was a pause. When Zakrai spoke again, the nervousness in his voice was almost imperceptible but present. "The Avan'Tai do not often welcome outsiders. You must understand, stranger. We are a proud and cautious people. What assurances do you offer that you mean no harm?" "I come alone with no weapons. My vessel's systems are powered down to minimal levels. My droid assistant and I operate under the principles of mutual respect and understanding." Another pause. Then Zakrai's tone shifted ever so slightly, a hint of curiosity breaking through his guarded demeanor. "Your words are strange but measured. Very well, explorer. You will be permitted to land at our designated site. However, understand this. You will be judged by the Codex of T'Qaar. Honor our ways, or your presence will be short-lived." The transmission ended, leaving me with a set of planetary coordinates. The gravity of the situation began to settle in. This wasn't just a civilization. It was one steeped in tradition and values, perhaps comparable to Earth's ancient warrior codes like Bushido. "Dax," I said, steeling my resolve, "prepare for descent." The droid's photoreceptor swiveled toward me. "Understood, Captain." Atmosphere entry protocols engaged. As the ship began its careful descent, I couldn't help but marvel at the forested expanse stretching infinitely below. Great canopies interlocked like a vast green ocean, broken only by glimpses of towering spires and aerial structures that seemed to merge seamlessly with nature. My journey had brought me to a world teeming with life and brimming with mystery. What stories would unfold here among the avian warriors of Avan'Tai? With a shudder, the Arbiter's Quest breached the planet's atmosphere, and the adventure began. The Arbiter's Quest touched down softly on a circular platform made of a gleaming, metallic substance that seemed to grow naturally from the forest floor. The air shimmered with moisture and the scent of exotic flora, a mix of sweet nectar and earthy undertones. I took a deep breath, feeling the vibrancy of the planet's ecosystem. Before I could fully appreciate the surroundings, an array of small drones emerged from hidden compartments in the platform. They hovered around me, emitting beams of light that scanned my body and my ship. The process was thorough if a bit disconcerting. "Captain, the drones appear to be performing a security and biological analysis," Dax informed me. Moments later, the drones retreated in unison. From the far end of the platform a figure approached. He was tall and avian, his feathers a striking mix of deep crimson and gold. His attire was regal yet functional, resembling ceremonial armor. A staff adorned with intricate carvings rested in his clawed hand. "I am Chief Diplomat Kael'ric," he announced, his voice rich and resonant, with the same melodic undertone I had heard from T'Qaar. "You stand on the soil of the Avan'Tai. State your origin, traveler, and the purpose of your visit." I offered a respectful bow, careful to mirror the formal tone of his greeting. "I am Captain Elara Voss of the exploration vessel Arbiter's Quest. I hail from a planet called Earth, many light-years from here. My purpose is to learn to understand your people, and to share knowledge of my own." Kael'ric regarded me with a keen gaze, his head tilting slightly, an avian gesture that conveyed both curiosity and scrutiny. "Earth," he repeated, the word unfamiliar on his tongue. "You have come far, Captain. The Avan'Tai value strength, honor, and wisdom. Your presence here is unexpected. Nevertheless, the T'Qaar Codex demands we treat all visitors with dignity until their actions prove otherwise." He extended a wing-like arm, gesturing toward the forest. "Our ruler, the Sovereign of Spires, will wish to meet you. Come, Captain Voss. Your journey among the Avan'Tai begins." With that, I followed Kael'ric, the dense forest around us humming with the life of 1,000 unseen creatures. The path ahead was shrouded in mystery, but my heart burned with anticipation for what lay ahead. Kael'ric led me to a smaller vessel docked near the landing platform. Its sleek organic design blended seamlessly with the natural surroundings, as if the ship itself had grown from the forest. I followed him aboard, where the interior was adorned with intricate carvings and soft, glowing panels that pulsed with a faint, bioluminescent light. As the ship lifted off, the dense canopy below gave way to a breathtaking panorama of Avan'Tai. Towering trees stretched skyward, their trunks thick as fortresses. Suspended bridges and sprawling platforms connected the trees like a sprawling, airborne metropolis. "Your world is extraordinary," I said, unable to hide my awe. Kael'ric inclined his head. "The forests of Avan'Tai are ancient, older than even our recorded history. We live in harmony with them, as the Codex demands. To harm the trees is to harm our own souls." As we soared higher, a new thought struck me. Kael'ric, the soldier I saw during our initial scans. He looked unlike you. Kael'ric's feathers ruffled slightly, an expression I interpreted as pride. "You are observant, Captain. The soldier you saw hails from Ancaris, our moon. The Ancarans are a subspecies of our kind, adapted to their harsher environment. They are our most formidable warriors, bred for battle and unwavering loyalty." "A fascinating arrangement," I remarked. "And yet you seem to value peace." "Peace is what we strive for," Kael'ric replied, his tone resolute. "But the Codex teaches us that strength must always stand ready to defend it." The ship slowed, descending toward the largest tree I had ever seen. Its colossal trunk stretched high into the sky, its upper branches disappearing into the clouds. At its base, an expansive structure sprawled, a castle-like edifice seamlessly integrated into the tree itself. Towers and balconies jutted out, each adorned with banners that fluttered in the breeze. "Behold the Sovereign Spire," Kael'ric announced. "Here the Sovereign of Spires awaits. Tread carefully, Captain Voss, for your words will carry great weight." As the ship landed softly on a platform high in the tree's canopy, I felt the gravity of the moment settle over me. My journey had brought me here, to the heart of this proud and ancient civilization. What lay ahead with the Sovereign would shape the course of my mission, and perhaps much more. The grand hall inside the Sovereign Spire was a marvel of organic architecture. Massive arching beams of wood interwove with living vines that glowed faintly, casting a serene green light across the room. At the far end sat the Sovereign, a commanding figure draped in intricately woven robes adorned with symbols I couldn't yet decipher. His feathers shimmered like liquid gold, and his eyes were sharp and calculating. Kael'ric motioned for me to step forward. I advanced, bowing respectfully as I spoke. "Sovereign of Spires, I am Captain Elara Voss, an explorer from a distant planet called Earth. My mission is to learn about your people, your world, and to foster understanding between us." The sovereign's gaze pierced me as he considered my words. "Captain Voss," he began, his voice deep and resonant, "you come to us with noble intentions. Yet, intentions alone are not enough. The Avan'Tai have thrived by upholding our codex and safeguarding our harmony. Why should we risk this balance by engaging with an outsider?" I chose my response carefully. "Sovereign, your people's strength and wisdom are evident. I believe that through mutual exchange, both of our worlds can grow. Earth has much to offer: knowledge, technology, and friendship, and much to learn from the Avan'Tai in return." The room was silent for a moment. Then the sovereign inclined his head slightly. "You speak with conviction, Captain. Trade between our worlds may indeed yield great benefits. I will send a delegation to your Earth to see this world for ourselves and determine if such an alliance is wise." He turned to Kael'ric. "Chief Diplomat, you will oversee the preparations. Ensure that the delegation is composed of our wisest and most honorable representatives. Their mission must uphold the integrity of the Codex." Kael'ric bowed deeply. "It will be done, Sovereign." The sovereign's gaze returned to me. "Captain Voss, until then, you are welcome to remain as our guest. Learn what you can of the Avan'Tai, for understanding is the first step toward trust." I bowed once more, gratitude swelling within me. "Thank you, Sovereign. I will honor your hospitality and strive to represent my people well." As I left the hall with Kael'ric, I couldn't help but feel a mixture of relief and excitement. The foundation for an extraordinary partnership had been laid, but the journey was far from over. There was so much yet to discover, and countless steps to take before trust could truly be forged. The next morning, as sunlight filtered through the vast canopy, I was summoned to an open courtyard near the sovereign's spire. Standing there waiting for me was a figure adorned in flowing robes of emerald green, her feathers shimmering with hues of sapphire and gold. She carried herself with poise and a youthful curiosity that set her apart from the other dignitaries I'd met so far. "Captain Voss," she greeted, her voice a lyrical melody. "I am Princess Elara, daughter of the Sovereign. I understand that you are here to learn about our people. I wish to offer you a glimpse into our way of life." I inclined my head in respect. "It would be an honor, Princess Elara." She smiled faintly and gestured for me to follow. "Come. I will take you to one of our children's gardens. It is a place where our young learn the ways of the Codex and the harmony of our world." We boarded a smaller, open-air vessel, its design more delicate than the others I had seen. As it ascended, I marveled at the intricate networks of platforms and bridges that formed the backbone of their civilization. Below, the forest stretched endlessly, alive with vibrant colors and the calls of unseen creatures. "The children's garden is a sacred space," Elara explained as we traveled. "It is where we teach the principles of the Codex to the next generation. They learn to respect the forest, to honor our traditions, and to cultivate their skills." The vessel descended gently into a clearing surrounded by towering trees. The garden was unlike anything I had imagined. It was alive with activity, young Avan'Tai of various ages practicing aerial maneuvers, tending to vibrant, bioluminescent plants, and engaging in spirited debates under the watchful eyes of elder instructors. "This is where our future begins," Elara said softly. "The Codex teaches us that strength and wisdom must grow together. Would you care to meet some of the children?" "I would be delighted," I replied, eager to see this vibrant culture through the eyes of its youngest members. As Elara introduced me to a group of curious children, their questions came quickly, their bright eyes filled with wonder. They wanted to know about Earth, my ship, and the stars beyond their world. I answered as best I could, sharing stories of my travels and the diverse peoples I had encountered. In turn, they shared their own aspirations, to become warriors, diplomats, healers, and caretakers of the great forest. It was a moment of pure connection, untainted by politics or caution. For the first time since arriving, I felt a deeper understanding of the Avan'Tai and their way of life. These children embodied the hope and resilience of their people, and through them, I glimpsed a future where our worlds might one day stand together. Elara watched silently, her expression thoughtful. When the time came to leave, she turned to me and said, "Captain Voss, you have seen a piece of who we are. I hope it will help you understand why we guard our traditions so fiercely." It does, Princess, I replied earnestly, and it deepens my respect for your people. As we departed the children's garden, I couldn't help but feel that this simple, heartfelt encounter had laid the groundwork for something far greater, not just between myself and the Avan'Tai, but between our worlds. Later that evening, I was invited to join Princess Elara for a traditional meal in a quiet chamber perched high in the sovereign spire. The room was open to the night air, the distant calls of nocturnal creatures creating a serene symphony. A low, intricately carved wooden table had been set with an array of dishes, each emanating an aroma that was both unfamiliar and tantalizing. "Please, Captain Voss, sit," Elara said, gesturing to a cushioned seat. "Tonight we share a meal prepared with the fruits of our forest. Each dish represents a piece of our history and our connection to this land." I took my seat, marveling at the spread before us. There were vibrant fruits that glowed faintly in the dim light, steaming bowls of richly spiced grains, and delicately wrapped parcels of leaves that emitted a sweet, earthy aroma. "This is incredible," I said as I sampled a fruit that burst with a flavor both sweet and tangy. "Your cuisine reflects the harmony you speak of." Elara smiled, her feathers catching the flickering light of a nearby lantern. "It is said that our ancestors learned to listen to the forest, to take only what was needed and to give back what they could. This balance has shaped our way of life for generations. Every meal, every action, is a reflection of that harmony." I nodded, savoring another bite of a delicately wrapped parcel. "It's remarkable. On Earth, many cultures also have traditions tied to food and its connection to the land, though not all have maintained that balance as you have." Elara's gaze grew distant, her expression thoughtful. "There was a time long ago when we too struggled with that balance. Our ancestors were not always as wise as we strive to be now. Would you like to hear the story?" "Very much so," I replied, setting my utensils down to listen fully. She began, her melodic voice weaving a tale of ancient Avan'Tai history. "Long before the Codex of T'Qaar was written, our people lived scattered across the great forests, each group guarding their own territory fiercely. The trees were plentiful, and the lands were bountiful, but greed and mistrust poisoned their hearts. They began to take more than they needed, hunting to excess, cutting down sacred trees, and warring with one another for dominion over the land." Her tone grew somber. "The forest began to wither. The balance that had sustained our ancestors was broken, and with it so too was the harmony of our people. The skies darkened and the Ankarans who had lived in peace on our moon turned their backs on us, seeing us as destroyers of the bond we once shared." Elara paused, lifting a small cup of glowing liquid and taking a sip before continuing. "It was during this time of strife that T'Qaar emerged, a warrior and scholar who saw the destruction for what it was. He traveled from clan to clan, urging them to lay down their weapons and to see the forest not as a resource to conquer, but as a partner in life. He spoke of honor, of balance, and of a greater purpose." "And they listened?" I asked, intrigued. "At first, no," she admitted with a rueful smile. "But T'Qaar was not one to be discouraged. He performed great deeds to prove his wisdom and strength, taming a great beast of the forest, healing blighted groves, and defeating those who challenged his vision. Slowly, the clans began to follow him, and together, they wrote the codex that guides us to this day." Her voice softened. "The codex is more than a set of rules. It is a promise to the forest, to ourselves, and to the future. It reminds us that strength must serve harmony, and that wisdom must temper ambition." I sat back, deeply moved by the story. "It's incredible. T'Qaar's vision not only saved your people, but created a way of life that endures. It's a testament to the power of unity and respect." Elara inclined her head. "And it is why we are cautious with outsiders, Captain Voss. The balance we have fought so hard to maintain is fragile, and the actions of a single individual can ripple through the forest like a falling branch." "I understand," I said earnestly, "and I hope to honor that balance in every step I take here." Her smile returned, warm and genuine. "You have shown respect, Captain, and for that I am grateful. Perhaps in time we may learn from one another, just as T'Qaar taught us to learn from the forest." As the meal concluded, I felt a deep sense of connection, not just to Elara and the Avan'Tai, but to the wisdom of their traditions. Their history, their harmony was something Earth could aspire to, and perhaps through this exchange both our worlds could grow stronger together. The following morning, Chief Diplomat Kael'ric summoned me to a meeting in a chamber adjacent to the Sovereign Spire's main hall. The room was a blend of natural and architectural mastery, with walls crafted from living wood that glowed faintly with the bioluminescence common to this world. A large table occupied the center, carved with intricate maps and symbols depicting Avan'Tai and its surrounding territories. Kael'ric stood waiting, his crimson and gold feathers catching the soft light. His staff rested against the table, an object of both ceremonial and practical significance. "Captain Voss," he began as I entered, gesturing for me to sit. "The Sovereign has entrusted me with organizing the logistics for our mission to your world. There is much to discuss." I nodded, taking my seat across from him. "I'm ready to provide whatever information you need, Kael'ric." He inclined his head, his gaze sharp and focused. "First, we must understand the distance and trajectory. Where is Earth located relative to Avan'Tai, and how do you propose we traverse this vast expanse?" I activated a small holographic projector from my wrist device, displaying a star map. "Earth is located in the Sol system here," I explained, indicating the position with a glowing marker. "The journey will be considerable, but my ship's navigation systems can provide a precise route. The exact duration will depend on the capabilities of your vessels." Kael'ric studied the map intently, his taloned fingers tracing the path from Avan'Tai to the distant point. "It is farther than I anticipated, but not insurmountable. Tell me, Captain, does your world possess the means to receive us safely? What precautions must we take?" I considered his question carefully. Earth has many advanced cities, but not all of them are equipped for interstellar arrivals. I recommend landing near one of our scientific or diplomatic hubs, where we can ensure your delegation is met with respect and care. My people are curious and eager to learn, but we value protocols for safety and understanding. Kael'ric nodded. "Wise advice. The Sovereign wishes for this mission to be one of mutual benefit, not misunderstanding. We will send a delegation of our finest minds, scholars, diplomats, and healers, to represent the Avan'Tai and uphold the Codex." "That sounds ideal," I said. "And I will personally ensure your delegation's safety and success during their time on Earth." Kael'ric's feathers ruffled slightly in what I had come to recognize as a sign of approval. "Good. There is one more matter. The Sovereign has instructed me to request a token of your world, a symbol of trust to mark the beginning of this exchange." I smiled, already prepared. From a pouch at my side, I retrieved a small, intricately carved globe of Earth made from a composite material. "This is a representation of my planet, showing its oceans, continents, and major landmarks. It's a small gift, but one that carries the spirit of our world." Kael'ric accepted the globe with both talons, turning it over carefully. "It is beautiful, Captain. The Sovereign will treasure this gesture." The meeting continued for some time as we finalized details: the size of the delegation, the supplies they would need, and the timing of their departure. By the end, I felt a deep sense of camaraderie with Kael'ric. Though our worlds were separated by vast distances, the desire for understanding and cooperation was a bond that spanned the stars. As I left the chamber, I couldn't help but feel that this mission was no longer just about exploration. It was the start of something far greater, a bridge between two civilizations, built on respect and the promise of shared knowledge. Later that afternoon, Princess Elara approached me with an air of excitement. "Captain Voss," she said, her feathers catching the golden light of the late sun, "before you depart, I would like to show you something that defines much of our prosperity, a resource that has shaped our civilization." "I'm intrigued," I replied. "Lead the way, Princess." We boarded a small, sleek vessel and ascended high above the forest canopy. The view was breathtaking, an endless expanse of green interwoven with rivers that glittered like threads of silver. After a short journey, we began to descend toward a clearing where the forest floor shimmered with an iridescent glow. In the center of the clearing stood an elaborate structure, a fusion of natural wood and crystal-like material. "This," Elara said as we exited the vessel, "is a Clysium grove. Clysium is one of the rarest and most valuable resources on Avan'Tai. It forms naturally within the roots of certain ancient trees and is harvested with great care." I stepped closer to the grove, marveling at the translucent, gem-like structures embedded in the roots. They pulsed faintly with light as if alive. "What makes it so valuable?" I asked. Clicium has unique properties, she explained. It can store vast amounts of energy, making it essential for our technology. It also has medicinal uses and is a key component in our art and craftsmanship. However, it is exceedingly rare, and its harvest is tightly regulated to preserve the balance of the forest. As we walked through the grove, I couldn't help but be struck by the harmony of the operation. Workers moved with precision and reverence, extracting the clicium without damaging the surrounding trees. It was a testament to the Avan'Tai's commitment to their codex. From the grove, we traveled to their largest city, a sprawling metropolis that seemed to grow organically from the forest itself. Towering trees served as the foundation for massive structures, their trunks carved into intricate buildings adorned with glowing patterns. Bridges of woven vines connected the treetops, and streams of water cascaded through the city, providing both beauty and function. "This is Vanari," Elara said, pride evident in her voice, "the heart of our culture and governance. Here, nature and civilization coexist as one." The city buzzed with life. Avan'Tai of all ages moved gracefully along the bridges and platforms, their vibrant plumage a kaleidoscope of colors. Markets displayed goods crafted from wood, metal and clicium, while elders told stories to gathered crowds under the shade of great leaves. "It's stunning," I said, taking it all in. "I've never seen a city so seamlessly integrated with its environment." Elara smiled. "It is a reflection of our values, Captain. To live in harmony with the forest is to live in harmony with ourselves." As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the city in hues of gold and amber, I couldn't help but feel a profound respect for the Avan'Tai. Their resourcefulness, wisdom, and connection to their world were qualities Earth could only hope to emulate. As the final day of my visit to Avan'Tai arrived, I was summoned to an audience with the sovereign in the grand hall of the sovereign spire. The air was heavy with formality, and the golden light filtering through the living wood of the walls seemed to cast an ethereal glow over the proceedings. The sovereign's commanding presence greeted me as I entered. His shimmering feathers and sharp eyes spoke of wisdom and authority. Princess Elara stood to one side, a quiet observer, while Chief Diplomat Codex was stationed nearby with his ever-watchful gaze. "Captain Voss," the sovereign began, his deep voice resonating through the chamber, "your presence among us has been a moment of great significance. You have honored our ways and brought a glimpse of your world to ours. Yet, I understand that your journey must continue." I bowed respectfully. "Sovereign, it has been the highest honor to walk among the Avan'Tai and learn of your people's wisdom. My mission compels me to explore further, but I will carry the memory of Avan'Tai with me always." He inclined his head. "Then let us mark your visit in a manner befitting its importance. You will join us for a final meal, after which you shall leave your mark in the Codex of T'Qaar, ensuring that your name and deeds are remembered in our history." I felt a swell of gratitude and reverence. "It would be my privilege, Sovereign." That evening, a grand dinner was held in a chamber overlooking the vast forest. The meal was a celebration of harmony and connection, featuring the finest fruits, grains, and delicacies Avan'Tai had to offer. The air was filled with the gentle hum of conversation and the soft melodies of Avan'Tai music. Princess Elara, seated beside me, leaned closer as the meal progressed. "Your journey is just beginning, Captain Voss, but your time here has already left an imprint. I hope the bridge we've begun to build will only grow stronger." "As do I," I replied sincerely. "This experience has changed me in ways I'm only beginning to understand." When the meal concluded, I was escorted to a small chamber housing the Codex of T'Qaar. The sacred text rested upon a pedestal carved from the oldest tree in the forest, its pages aglow with a faint, otherworldly light. Codex handed me a quill-like instrument, its tip shimmering with clicium. "Captain Elara Voss," he said solemnly, "by inscribing your name and your purpose here, you join the annals of our history. Let your mark symbolize trust and unity." With steady hands, I wrote my name and a brief account of my visit. The clicium ink glowed softly as it settled onto the page, as if the codex itself accepted my words. The sovereign stepped forward, his gaze fixed upon the glowing text. "Your journey with us ends here, Captain Voss, but the connection you have forged shall endure. Go forth with our blessing, and may your path lead to ever greater understanding." As I departed the sovereign spire that night, the weight of the moment stayed with me. I had come to Avan'Tai as a stranger and left as a part of their history. The forest whispered its eternal song as the Arbiter's quest prepared for departure, and I knew that this world and its people would remain a part of me forever. The next morning, I made my way back to the landing site where the Arbiter's quest waited, its polished surface reflecting the dappled sunlight filtering through the dense canopy above. The forest hummed with life, as if bidding me a subtle farewell. Princess Elara stood at the edge of the clearing, her emerald and sapphire plumage glowing softly in the early light. Beside her was Chief Diplomat Codex, his crimson feathers glinting with a regal sheen. Both held intricately wrapped objects, the significance of which was immediately clear. "Captain Voss," Elara said warmly as I approached, "before you leave, we wish to present you with gifts to commemorate your visit and solidify the bond between our worlds." Codex stepped forward first, offering a small crystalline sphere that pulsed faintly with an inner light. "This is a fragment of Clysium," he explained. "It is rare and precious, a token of our trust and respect. May it remind you of the harmony we strive to protect." I accepted the sphere with reverence. "Thank you, Codex. This will hold a place of honor among my collection." Elara then held out a woven sash adorned with symbols that glimmered faintly. "This is a sash of the T'Qaar Codex," she said. "It bears the emblem of our unity and the wisdom we share. Wear it proudly, Captain." As I draped the sash over my shoulder, I felt a swell of gratitude and kinship. "I am deeply honored, Princess Elara. These gifts mean more to me than words can express." "And we are honored by your visit," she replied softly. "May your journey be safe, and may our paths cross again." After exchanging final words of gratitude and goodwill, I boarded the Arbiter's quest. As the ship ascended through the dense layers of the atmosphere, I gazed out at the sprawling forests of Avan'Tai one last time. The sight was breathtaking, a living testament to the beauty and resilience of this extraordinary world. Dax's voice broke the reverie. "Captain, course plotted for the next system. Ready for departure." "Engage, Dax," I said, my voice steady but laced with emotion. As the ship accelerated into the endless expanse of space, I couldn't help but glance at the Clysium sphere now resting on the console beside me. It glowed softly, a piece of Avan'Tai to guide me on my journey. Though my time on the forested planet had ended, its lessons and its people would remain with me always, a beacon of unity and harmony in the vast, uncharted galaxy ahead.